Before we reveal the powerful ideas in this book, let me first clarify the 3 things people often get wrong about Nelson Mandela's life. I'm clarifying these misconceptions to prove to you that I've read this book. So, the first point is that Mandela was never expelled. His principal at the university actually offered Mandela a deal, stating that if Mandela refused, then he would be expelled. But that actually never happened. Mandela was never expelled. At least, that is what I got from the book. So why do people get confused about this fact? It is likely because Mandela never returned to the university. And there is only one reason why Mandela didn't return. You see, Mandela and his adopted brother, Justice, ran away from the Thembu king, who had arranged marriages for both of them. So this is the first misconception. And the second misconception is that Mandela spent 27 years in prison. Yes, although this is true, it's not entirely accurate. Mandela probably spent more than 30 years either locked up in a jail cell or restricted to a specific location due to the government bans that were placed on him. This was something that many prominent freedom fighters in South Africa and in fact the rest of the world went through. And the third misconception is that many people think that the book Long Walk to Freedom was written in 1994 to tell the world about Nelson Mandela's story. But that's simply not the case. The book was originally written on Robben Island in the year 1974, and its purpose was to inspire the younger South African generation of freedom fighters of that time. It was almost like a letter to pass down the torch from the veteran freedom fighters to the younger radical activists. So those are the 3 misconceptions. I have a lot more because this is what we do on this channel. Tell African stories. So subscribe to not miss out. And now I have to focus on the powerful ideas and knowledge in this book that I feel responsible to sharing. So I have invested a lot in this book. So I spent over 2 months listening to it twice and wrote over 10,000 words in total. This is enough to make a small book. And yet, after all that research, in my efforts to create the perfect documentary, I still can't grasp quite how to summarize Mandela's life. It's almost as if there's not enough words in the English language to summarize it all. Even Mandela himself struggled to summarize his life when he wrote Long Walk to Freedom. You want to know how I know that? Because there's a second book, an autobiography approved by Mandela, where other people get to speak about Nelson Mandela's life. Not to mention the other countless books that have been written about this man himself. So with that said, there's far too much to cover in one summary. Instead, I will give you my 3 main takeaways that I learned from reading Long Walk to Freedom. And the most important is the last point. The first lesson is humility. With all the glory and fame that was given to Nelson Mandela, he never let it get to his head. In fact, in many interviews, Nelson Mandela made it clear that the victory was not his alone, but the entire nation's. He discounted anything that placed him above anyone else. And as he said in his inauguration speech in 1994, I stand here before you not as a prophet, but as a humble servant of you, the people. And the second lesson, honor is one of the qualities that defined Nelson Mandela's greatness. Even if he himself was reluctant to accept praises, Mandela's honor showed when he devoted his life to the cause of freedom. It showed when he was offered many chances to betray his comrades and ideas in exchange for land in his home province in the Transkei. It showed again when he stood up in the Rivonia trial, knowing he might receive the death penalty, and yet still declare, I have fought against white domination and I have fought against black domination. I have cherished the idea of a democratic and free society in which all persons live together in harmony and with equal opportunities. It is an ideal which I hope to live for and achieve. But if needs be, it is an ideal to which I'm prepared to die for. And the third and final lesson is humanity. Mandela embodied love for humanity to its fullest. It takes a special kind of person to see humanity in those who did not see it in you. It takes a different level of mental fortitude to forgive those who dehumanized you and your family. As Mandela said, no one was born hating another person because of the color of their skin, or his background, or his religion. People must learn to hate. And if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love. For love comes more naturally to the human heart than its opposite. Thanks for watching. Brother, justice had ran away from the Gary. I was right.